implied author and an unreliable narrator. The concept of an implied author is a term used in literary criticism and theory to refer to the authorial voice that is suggested or implied by a work of literature, rather than the actual author who wrote the work. The term was first introduced by the literary theorist Wayne C. Booth in his book The Rhetoric of Fiction in 1961. The implied author is the voice that emerges from the text itself, and is created through a combination of the author's narrative style, tone, point of view, and use of language. It is not necessarily the same as the actual author, as the actual author may have personal beliefs and values that differ from those implied by the work. The concept of the implied author is important because it allows literary critics to analyze the meanings and themes of a work of literature without relying solely on the author's biographical information or intentions. Instead, the implied author provides a way of understanding the work as a self-contained entity with its own internal logic and narrative voice, and provides a means of understanding the complex relationships between authors, texts, and readers. Let's understand another important concept: an unreliable narrator. An unreliable narrator is a narrative voice in a work of fiction whose credibility is compromised in some way, either through deliberate deception or because of a psychological or emotional state that distorts their perception of events. Unreliable narrators are commonly found in works of literature that explore the subjective nature of reality, such as modernist and postmodernist literature. They may be used to challenge the reader's assumptions, blur the line between fact and fiction, or expose the limitations of human perception and memory. There are many different ways in which a narrator can be unreliable. For example, a narrator may be deliberately lying or withholding information from the reader, as in Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita. Alternatively, a narrator may be mentally or emotionally unstable, as in Charlotte Perkins Gilman's The Yellow Wallpaper, where the narrator's deteriorating mental state leads her to see things that aren't there. A narrator may also be biased or prejudiced in some way, leading them to distort or misinterpret events, as in Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness, where the narrator's racism and imperialism influence his perception of the African characters. Unreliable narrators can be challenging for readers, as they require readers to question the narrator's credibility and actively engage with the text to uncover the truth. Nellie Dean in Emily Bronte's novel Wuthering Heights is another example of unreliable narrator. First, as a servant in the household of Wuthering Heights, Nellie is not privy to all of the events and conversations that take place among the upper-class characters, and may therefore be unable to provide a complete and accurate account of the story. Second, Nellie is emotionally invested in the lives of the characters she narrates, particularly Heathcliff and Catherine Earnshaw, and her own biases and subjective opinions may influence the way she presents their actions and motivations. Finally, Nellie often presents events out of chronological order and digresses into long-winded anecdotes, which can make it difficult for readers to follow the narrative and piece together the events of the story.
Kindly subscribe our channel for more useful information like this, and do not forget to press the bell icon.